They didn't do it. Oh, happy day indeed. Hey everybody, I'm Cortez and I'm a critic. We are down to our last two videos for the 2024 recap. And we must talk to the first loser. The former two-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs as they failed to be a three-peat. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kansas City. I am sorry, Nick Wright. I am so sorry. I'm sorry, Buckner. I am so sorry. I'm sorry, Taylor Swift. It's gonna be a long intro. I'm so sorry. Okay, let's all be professional here. Let's not be little fanboys, and let's not act like politicians and deny and say that didn't happen, that's this, that. Let's not make excuses for why the Chiefs didn't do a three-peat and just admit the fact that you didn't do a three-peat. So therefore, everyone that's been preaching about a three-peat can do me all a favor and denied sit down. The Chiefs had a fantastic attempt. This whole season was on the cusp of could they three-peat? What this will do to Mahomes' legacy. Would Tom Brady will get the fuck off the GOAT? What happens? All this went from a very joyous and inspiring journey to just fan hatred of others. We've seen the fans that love the Chiefs hate Tom Brady. And then we see people that love Tom Brady hate the Chiefs, but not Mahomes. Funny enough how that is. The Chiefs fans would hate Brady, but the Brady supporters hate the Chiefs, not Mahomes. At least I never came across videos of people saying, I hate Mahomes, X, Y, and Z. Brady was X, Y, Z, W, chromosome, yada, 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 yada. And some of it was like, dude, that has nothing to do with football. I am a very petty man. Is that my only reason I did not want the Chiefs to repeat had nothing to do with Tom Brady, because the more the Chiefs won Super Bowls, the more the one loss to Tampa makes it more of an eyesore, to the point where when the record is completed, that one loss will be, oh, let me get the projection screen and we'll put it on the wall so you can see why the Chiefs lost that one Super Bowl. But no, Philadelphia came in and just beat the crap out of them, to the point I was like, the scoreboard doesn't show you what we saw. It was 34-0. And also the halftime show. But it was 34-0. And then you just saw that what the Bucks did in the past and what the Eagles did presently just says that is how you beat Mahomes, which is why people like the Ravens and the Bills and the Bengals, I keep saying, why don't you guys have a pass rush? That is the only way to, in some instances, to stop any great quarterback. It happened to Brady with the Giants. You need to sack their quarterbacks. You need to make that quarterback force bad throws, and sometimes you need to make them stop doing State Farm commercials. But like a good neighbor, State Farm is always there. So, with all that, I had the Chiefs 13-4, 11-6. One of the many teams that I thought was going to go to the playoffs. The question would have been where they would have been. There was a small chance that I feel like the Chiefs would go no lower than second seed. That I feel like they will still have two home playoff games, and the question will be whether the one seed loses. So the Chiefs was one of those teams that, and this year really showed if not the dark arts, but just in general, how the Chiefs really, this is how you beat them. This is how you beat the Chiefs. It's this way, and that's it. So, looking at all like that, their best game, pick one, but I'm going with Week 16 versus Houston. I'm picking this game because it was the only game really left that I felt like if this team does not derail them, they're getting the number one seed. Like, that's literally how I felt going into that game. It's like, if the Texans don't derail them now, the Chiefs are getting the number one seed. And I'm sorry, I was like, they're going to the Super Bowl. If not guaranteed, I was like 90% sure. And I was still rooting for that 10%. But I was like, yeah. So, in a lot of games, the Chiefs, had against Tampa, gotta get the coin ball first. Against the Raiders, botch snap. Against the Broncos, block the short field goal. There was a lot of games that the Panthers, fake going out of bounds and run for 10 more yards. There was a lot of games this year where the Chiefs won by one possession, and it came to the point that was a criticism, and I had a hard time saying, how was that a criticism? That just showcases a good team. Yes, I understand good teams sometimes win by double-digit leads. I get that. But a good team finds a way to win regardless of. Yes, the narrative makes it look like, wow, they're just one possession away. But what scares me is that... Okay, clever segue into the worst game. Their only real game they lost was to Buffalo, and that was in Week 11 at Buffalo, the 30-21. Because that loss, one, it was the Chiefs' loss, but it was a fourth down conversion that Josh Allen ran the ball when I think the Chiefs, the Bills were up by 2. It was like 23-21. And instead of kicking the field goal, which everyone said, you kick the field goal, they drove down the field and scored a touchdown, because that's what the Chiefs have been so good this year, and probably been so good since Mahomes' time as the Chiefs starting quarterback, is that unless you have a double digit, a 2-possession lead in the final 5 minutes of the game, you are not going to beat the Chiefs, because they are way too dangerous, and they just have the perfect plan and strategy to get that first down. If it's 4th and 30, they will find a hook and ladder play, fumble Rooski, that will work for 60 yards. They are somehow either making massive deals with the devil, or they just have a super genius intellectual strategy minds to execute these plays. And with all the injuries to their wide receiver core and Travis Kelce basically being not just a shell, but a shadow of himself, that he is more there to see how many times we're going to see Taylor Swift up on the TV screen, up in the booth. That's the only reason why he's really there half the time. Mahomes has to make do with receivers that sometimes when you hear their name, you're thinking, oh wait, Juju's there? Oh wait, he's there? And then you see Worthy, which, by the way, the Bills gave him the pick to them, is thinking, you gave a speed demon to the Chiefs' offensive-minded team. You fool! So, with all that, the Bills scoring that touchdown, making a 9-point game, since it's not the UFL, they can't go for a 3-point game after a touchdown. That is the only way to defeat the Chiefs. You got to put a lead that's at least 2 possessions, and therefore give them less time. So, if worst case scenario, they drive down the field and score a touchdown, the onside kick is less than 0% accurate. And if they somehow manage to get that onside kick, there is too many ifs that are less than 0% the Chiefs will have to execute to tie and let alone win. So the worst game is the Bills did what Tampa did, what everyone does. You have to basically either score last, which the Broncos and the Raiders were trying to do, or win the coin toss, which Tampa was trying to do, or score more points, not just get a field goal, which the Bills were trying to do. And that's how you beat the Chiefs. Simple as that. Your MVP. Now this MVP is interesting to me because I always try to find MVP that offer more. Because when you look at the stats of Mahomes, he threw for nearly 4,390, He threw for just under 4,000 yards. He had 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. For Mahomes' level of quarterback, not gonna lie, that seemed very pedestrian. Like, really? Because we have not seen Mahomes have his 50 touchdown type performance in a while. Heck, even the last Super Bowls they have won, I personally believe that is because of their defense. Their defense is so formidable, the offense executes their plays flawless, that basically even if they mess up, the defense will make up for it. Or at least hold a team to a field goal instead of a touchdown. That's why at one time I gave Chris Jones the MVP because seeing a big dude wearing number 95 coming at you is enough to be like, I don't want to get hit, and he throws the ball away. Granted, that doesn't count as a statistical stat to them, but Chris Jones was that type of player. Mahomes this year was more of the player of, he just, there were times where he would scramble, stop, do like a overhead pass to Travis Kelce for 20 yards. He will stop a turn, he would do the, like there were, and then of course there were times where, let's be real, he would manipulate the referees to fake one thing, and then he gets called for roughing the passer and he gets a pass. Even though there have been sometimes evidence where it's like, what do you want them to do? What happened? Now, hopefully that will change in 2025 where basically we'll be like, okay, he didn't get hit in the helmet. Let's review that, which I'm hoping they'll fix that. And that's not Mahomes' fault. Mahomes is thinking, look at this advantage I have. I am going to exploit it. And if you think Mahomes is cheating, I'm thinking, besides Cam Newton, name any other quarter that will do the exact same thing. So to me, Mahomes MVP, more so not just for his statistical and his leadership, just his improbability, his ad-libbing, his ability to make a simple pass go bigger than it is, and just pure execution. Mahomes was clearly, to me, the catalyst for the Chiefs this year. Especially with injuries to wide receivers and Kelce being a shell, he was. The Chiefs' defense was still there, but I can't really dictate a defensive player that I felt as formidable. Chris Jones was there, but I feel like it was other defensive players that contributed just as much as Chris Jones. Chris Jones was just having to be the face of the defense. So I'll go the cheap route and give it to Mahomes. Mahomes was the reason. Mahomes is there. Mahomes. Grade for the Chiefs. You guys went to your third straight Super Bowl. You guys been to what, 5 Super Bowls in 6 years, 4 years, 7 years, like something like that. You guys were on the verge of winning a three-peat. That has never happened in NFL history. Yes, you got blown out to make that three-peat look like, we don't talk about the three-peat attempt. We don't talk about the three-peat attempt. But you did. So I can't help but say it's a successful season. You didn't win the Super Bowl, but by golly, no one thought you'd be there for 3 years in a row. And if you go there again, that's 4 straight Super Bowl appearances with only the Buffalo Bills have done, which therefore that's another record you can also dethrone. Granted, you already won rings during that 4-year time frame. So if you go there and you win another one, that's 3 rings in 4 straight trips. That is still a legacy building. So as much you want to say the three-peat is over, there's still a chance that Chiefs can go to 4 straight Super Bowls, and then the question becomes, could they go for 5, which therefore that will cement them beyond the Buffalo Bills' success and definitely above any other team of straight Super Bowls. The Chiefs have one of the most consistent Super Bowl track record in a decade. From the first time they went there against the 49ers, even the ones they've lost to Philadelphia and Tampa, it's just they happen to be there. So as much as we don't like the Chiefs and Mahomes, until Buffalo, Bengals, Ravens, and them get their shit together and actually to stop them in the playoffs, the Chiefs have a great chance to build a legacy of basically being in the Super Bowl in a decade 90% of the time. That's why it's still a successful season, even though the ending was bad. Now, since you guys are picking second to last, but you guys somehow managed to find massive diamonds in the rough when it comes to your draft picks, I have a few choices. The biggest thing is we need to protect Mahomes. And somehow I feel that's a little problem. So I'm going to go with Josh Cornelly Jr. from Oregon. A lot of these picks, like before, is because you guys are picking so late in the draft that I feel like if you guys really want an offensive tackle or offensive lineman or receiver or something, this is where you're going to go. For some reason, because of tight end thing, Ty Warner, and it's because of the same thing I did when I talk about the Denver Broncos. Ty Warner's ability to be more versatile, Swiss Army knife with Worthy, it just feels like we're going to have gadget players on the team with Mahomes. We all know Andy Reid's not going to be there forever. We know that. But these players coming in, the Chiefs are going to be more trickery, more adjustable, and fun, and definitely dangerous. And then last but not least, Emory Jones, offensive tackle, LSU, because I'm still on the harping that we don't protect Mahomes. The 2 Super Bowls he lost by blowout is because the defense of Philadelphia and Tampa rushed with 4. And they got to him. So to me, that is the reason to defeat him, which is why I feel like the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Bills don't beat them because they have no pass rushers. They don't. Especially not just from their initial 4 down linemen or whatever outside linemen they run a 3-4 defense. They don't have it. So until they figure that out, that's all that's going to happen. So long story short, Kansas City's dynasty request is not stopped. It's just derailed and delayed. The question will be, how long before they're back in the Super Bowl again? Like I said, 4 straight trips is still a milestone. So let's not, be happy. The only happiness we're going to get is that they're not going to walk around with a 3-peat around our faces. So for Nick Wright and all of them, Chiefs fans, take the L. We'll see you next year. But I am smiling. I am smiling. I'm sorry. I am smiling. Enjoy misery. I will accept it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was at one point championship Kansas City Chiefs. Now we save the best for last. Ladies and gentlemen, we are concluding our videos of the 2024 recap just in time before the NFL draft, as we will give the final video to the Super Bowl champions, Philadelphia Eagles. So come back in one last time before the draft, and I will make my recap video on Philadelphia on a phenomenal season and why they were and rightfully the Super Bowl champs. Until next time, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic. Thank you so very much for watching.